I'm here with Teri from Renegade Game Studios, and we are here to tell you all about Lanterns Dice.
Lanterns Dice is a new roll and write game that features a familiar theme. If you are fans of the original Renegade game Lanterns, it has the thematic feel of Lanterns,
Gotcha.
but a very different mechanical play experience. So this is a game that plays 2 to 4 in about 30 to 45 minutes. We say 10 up, but you can play with children who are a little younger, more fluent as well. I play it with families. It's really lovely because there's no hidden information in that game, and so you can help guide and
guide
make
them
it
along.
Easy. When you have younger players, they also like to color, and they're really into the whole thing.
Me also.
The mechanics are very simple. You have a pad. Every sheet is different when you play. Even with 4 players, there's a different sheet for each player. We'll roll the dice, and I will allocate the dice to each person. If I choose this blue dice, I'll give you purple, matches your hair.
Thank you.
And we will shade in our color. So I'll shade in a blue, you will shade in a purple.
Great.
If we had 2 other players, they would shade in the die pointing at them. Because I rolled the dice, I also happen to get a turn bonus on the side sheet here. Every turn
is a different color?
Is a different color. So on my first turn, I get an extra red. Depending on the number of players, you'll get more or fewer bonuses based on how many players are playing. So if we're playing
it changes the number of rounds
we
that you
only play 6. For 3, there's more. For 2, there's 10 full rounds.
Gotcha.
It goes pretty quick because of it as well. So it keeps the play time consistent no matter how many players you have. If you are color vision deficient, the shapes of the lanterns themselves correspond to a shape in the shading area. So you don't need to see color in order to know what shape you need to shade in. So every area corresponds to that. We also have little bonuses that are splayed all over the board. These circles are pavilions. When you shade an area touching a circle, you get a gift from the Emperor. Now you can spend those gifts to do a number of things. You can choose to spend one, so you just fill in the gift when you get it on the bottom, and you just cross it out when you spend it. It's very straightforward. I can spend 1 to re-roll all the dice I just rolled if I don't like any of the colors. I can spend up to 3. There are different effects depending on the number of gifts you spend on the turn.
And these are double-sided too.
Yes, they are. So there's a more advanced set of them. You can choose which ones you want to play with as well, so there's room for customization. After the pavilions, there are little squares. The pavilions are little circles. Anytime you fail an area touching one, you get the gift. So even if because each area has 2 areas, if I fill in that entire square, one with one color, one with another color, that's 2 gifts.
You get 2 gifts.
You get 2 gifts. So it's a nice way to bump up the amount of shading
I feel like I'm incredibly gifted. So.
Absolutely. The squares are platforms. That's where we launch fireworks from. If you are able to fill in both areas touching a square, you get to fill in an adjacent pool next to that area. Finally, there are boats. Now, boats are the areas. If there are pools touching the boat, you don't want to shade those areas because you want to leave the boats undisturbed. But if you shade around them to make the people in the boats enjoy the show a little bit more, you score 4 points at the end. So it's really nice.
There's something so romantic about the idea of just putting on a great fireworks show for a boat.
You do want to kind of break up your shaded areas because at the end of the game, you score by counting your points 3 different ways. If I was the one who got to roll the dice, at the end of the turn sequence, so active player rolls the dice, orients the train, then everyone shades their color.
Gotcha.
Then everyone can then spend Emperor's Gift. And at the end of the turn, the player who rolled the dice can launch 1 fireworks tile if they have all the area underneath that tile shaded. So you've got to have it's got to fit completely on there. And there are points associated with each firework tile. Some are harder than others, therefore worth more points. But the number of tiles you have, the points that they're worth descends. Yes, that you roll dice. But your choices as a player matter.
That's stressful and fun.
So at the end of the game, you count up your points. You score on the fireworks. You score on the number of full squares in your second largest pool. So those are adjacent but not diagonal squares that are touching each other.
Gotcha.
And then you score on whether or not you have boats that are undisturbed but surrounded by fire by shaded areas.
So when will people be able to get their hands on Lanterns
This
Dice?
game will be available this month at friendly local game stores on the 19th of June.
Awesome. That's great. Well, thank you so much, Teri.
Thank you so
for
much,
sharing
Anne.
Lanterns Dice with us. Let us know what you think of Lanterns Dice in the comments, and we will see you next time right here on Active Player Network.